Yay for you, wanting to intentionally experience more joy in your life. Don't we all? But most Enneagram types don't have a lot of experience or practice seeking out joy or what really helps them to experience that more of the time. So I'm so excited that you have found me here and found this resource that I've created called Joy Discoveries. I'm going to walk you through the resource so that it will help you to discover and experience more joy now and far into your future. This first column is what nurtures me with joy. I work off of this definition from 11th century Latin that says joy is the source of our delight. So it's not some fleeting happiness or a band-aid that kind of feels good for the time, but it's what's the source that we can continue to go back to that continually fills us with deep contentment and joy and delight in being alive and in being who we are. What is that source of joy that nurtures my soul again and again and again? I really thought about this resource as being something that you have laying around or posted up either at your office or somewhere at home to where when you even notice, because most of us don't even notice what brings us real joy. We haven't identified that yet. So when something does fill you with joy, that you can start just jotting down, these are the things that really nurture me with joy, so that you have a reference list that you can go back to and increase your awareness of what those things are. And the next column, that second column, is when I chose to do it. This is not a checklist. Please hear me. This is not a checklist. This is not a to-do list. If you identify something that brings you joy, and then you want to be intentional about experiencing more joy, then you can go to your reference list of, oh, these are the things. I've got a moment. I need this. So when did you choose to do that? You can put a date, a time, a day of the week, whatever that looks like for you. And some of us do like to check off our list. You have those little boxes there to where if you want to say, oh, I did this, as kind of a way to reward yourself of, I'm being intentional about this. I'm dedicating time to experience more joy in my life. It's important to note where you were or who you were with or what you were doing that actually brought you that joy and when that was. Because that final column is where you can write a little note about your experience. I invite you to journal deeply about it if you have the time, but to at least have a little note of when I chose to do this thing that I've identified as something that nurtures me with joy. What happened? What was my experience? What did I discover? That's why this resource is called Joy Discoveries. What did I discover? Did I discover that it helped me to feel more centered? Did I discover that I felt more connected with the people who were important in my life? Just a note about that experience. I also invite you to use this as a reference. So as you become more intentional and you start practicing experiencing joy more and getting this more routine in your life, you can go back and look at it and say, oh, wow. So this is when I chose to do this in February or for my birthday or whenever that was. And what's happened since then? Because I chose to do this at that time, what ripple effects has my intentionality about joy really created in my life? It's a simple resource since we don't have a lot of practice, that it's something that can help keep it at the front of our minds. It can help us be more intentional. Sometimes even when we have time or space, if we don't know what brings us joy, we can fill those spaces with more of the same or things that are just kind of a quick fix that can actually ultimately be depleting instead of generative. This resource can help you to identify what brings you joy, to be more intentional about making the time and space for you to experience those things that bring you joy. And I'm so excited from what you're going to discover from experiencing more joy in your life. Enjoy!